The game of life is to be your very best.
Hello everybody, welcome to Education for Life. We're still on the series called Work Smart, and today's topic is about perception. Perception is the way you perceive things, whether it's true or it's not true. I'll give you an example. A few hundred years ago, everyone thinks the world is flat. It's a perception because we didn't know any better. We didn't have rockets to go up to into the atmosphere to see that the earth is round, it's not flat. And it spins on its axis. The sun doesn't come up in the east and go down in the west. It's only a perception. It seems as though it comes out of the east and goes down in the west. In actual fact, it is the earth spinning, rotating on its axis. The sun is there all the time, but because the earth is spinning, then it seems as though the sun is coming rise out of the east and sets in the west. So that's what the meaning of perception. Now, I've done a lot of research on successful people, and I've noticed one thing: successful people look at things differently. Their perception is very, very different to people who are not so successful. And one of them is their perception of failure. Most people think failure is something that is bad, something to be ashamed of. But successful people don't. They look at failure as their best teacher. It teaches you that this thing is not working. Whatever you're doing is not working. You have to change. You cannot keep on doing it because it doesn't work. So the rich people and the successful people, they use failure as a stepping stone. Well, that didn't work, so I'm going to go to another option. Try another option. Try something else. And he's not afraid of failure. In fact, failure seems to energize him. He wants to go and test something else out, do something else. So it's the way you look at things. But because failure is a big thing. I know it's a big hindrance to most people. A lot of people give up because they fail. In many times, and then they eventually give up because they fail. Well, successful people don't look at it this way. They don't give up. And they don't look at failure as something that is bad. And they welcome it. They say, okay, I know this doesn't work. I'm going to have to try something else. There's no point continuing on the same thing. So that is why you need to look at things differently. You need to perceive things as different. It's same as knowledge. Everyone thinks that if I have the knowledge, I'll be all right. But that's only your perception. If you have the knowledge, most people are not all right. And the reason is they don't know how to use the knowledge. So our perception is we have the knowledge, we're okay. We have a certificate, we should be able to get a job. That is the perception of most school leavers. They go to high school, they got a big certificate, and they think they'll be able to find a job. And 6 months later, they're still walking the street, they can't find a job, they go knocking on every door. And because the statistics tells us only 5% of school leavers every year will get jobs. 95% will end up going back to the village to do something else. So it's only a perception. And it's like when people dress, the way people dress too, it's only a perception. You don't know who this person is really like because you only see the outer, the way he dressed, put on a tie or whatever. Maybe they dress very well, but it doesn't mean that person is successful. It's only your perception. You see him well dressed and all that, and you think he is well off. And same as people with degrees and all that. It's only a perception. You think that because he's got a degree, you might think, oh, he must be a great thinker. He can think, he can do things, but it's only a perception. Doesn't mean just because he's academically smart doesn't mean he can do things, he can achieve things. So we need to look at things differently. Look at the truth. In many books they call it the truth, as against something that is not true. Like the world is not flat, but we think it is flat. So that is the meaning. So in everyday life, you need to look at things as they are, the truth of what it is. And I will finish with this because this is a very big topic. And I know failure is a big problem to most people. It needn't be, Don't worry about failure. It's only your teacher. And I think the big topic regarding perception is how you manage, how you find the truth. Like one thing that I tell my students is, a good idea, it does not mean it is viable. But people have this perception, oh, it's my idea, I know this will work, and then I put my money, I've been saving up for 30 years, I put my money into it, and within 6 months it's all gone. See? Because it's a great idea, we think that great idea is viable. Oh, it's not. We should approach it differently. All great ideas, good or bad, whatever, are only ideas. You have to prove that it is viable. You have to prove that there are customers. They will accept your quality. They will accept your price. You don't know until you try it out. So great ideas may be viable and may not be viable. You have to have an open mind. But if you are fixed, this is my great idea, this is going to work. When you lose all your money, you get depressed. You've lost all your money and you give up. And that is why, because we set out in the first place with the wrong perception that great ideas are viable. Well, they're not. Just like human beings. Everyone may be viable and may not be viable. It's better you go the other way and treat everyone as not viable until they prove that they're viable. Otherwise, you're going to make a lot of mistakes because you think they're viable, you trust them, and then they might end up doing bad things, and their character is flawed. They might steal, they might gossip, they might do all sorts of things that you know nothing about. So if you don't know the person, and if you have never proven that your project, your great idea is viable, it's better you take the other approach. Consider everything not viable until you prove it's viable. If you do that, you're going to save yourself a lot of money, a lot of time, unnecessary waste of time, waste of all sorts of resources. You can do this. So I'll finish by telling you again, you can do anything. It's the way you think, the way you do things, approach things. Do it diligently, check all the details. No shortcut, because successful people don't shortcut. They really do things properly. And the next lesson, I'm going to tell you about preparation. All successful people, one of the key components of their success is because they know how to prepare things. Thank you for watching and listening to me.
Best of my very best every day. My dear